Hey guys, my name is Conovan. It's very good to be here today. As I'm sure you might have heard, YouTube has recently made changes to the terms of service in relation to how harassment is allowed on the platform. Now, for instance, and this is just an example, if I was to say that Logan Paul looks like the type of guy to flash Elmo, then that would result in this video being terminated. I should definitely not go out of my way to animate Logan Paul flashing Elmo because YouTube, and by extension Google, are now going to place a stronger foot against anything that could be seen as bullying. So let's just jump into it. YouTube released a blog post on Wednesday. They were going to make changes to how speech and conversation would be allowed on the platform in relation to harassment. The big difference now is that this also extends to public figures. Before, if I had made a video bullying my friend Tony because he doesn't have any friends, then that video would have been taken down. But a video bullying Jake Paul for secretly being a Dora the Explorer fan, that video would stay up. As of this week, both videos would be removed. To be honest, I really disagree with this. I think that us common people have the right to criticize anybody who's part of the public Discord. I'm also saying that because every single one of my videos so far has made fun of a celebrity, so I'm a bit scared, I won't lie. Another big change to the policy now is that the terms of service explicitly prohibits language that is against a person's gender, race, or sexuality. I can sort of sit on the fence with this one because on one hand, racism and homophobia and all that sort of thing shouldn't be given a platform. But on the other hand, I would think it's sort of arrogant of YouTube to restrict any possible discourse from occurring in areas that they're not a fan of. It should be remembered that the concept of freedom of speech as a right doesn't actually apply here. That's for discussions made on a nationalized forum. Technically, YouTube has every right to ban, discussion on Coca-Cola if they're really big fans of Pepsi. They have the legal right to censor discussion because everything that's said on the platform represents the platform. Just like how you're not allowed to say hateful comments in the workplace. Obviously, the new policies are meant for much stronger and substantial threats than calling a YouTuber a Dora the Explorer fan. It's for when you actually are threatening bodily harm or when you're attempting to dehumanize the individual. And the big development, of course, was the removal of Idubbbz's content cop on Leafy, which was such a great diss that it literally ended his career. I don't recall Idubbbz ever belittling Leafy's race, gender, or sexuality, so I'm gonna guess that it was removed because it was simply too gangster of Idubbbz. What I find most interesting about this, however, is that it was this video to be banned. His content cop against Tana Mongoose. A large part of the video was the usage of the N-word, which Idubbbz used a lot. Contextually speaking, it really wasn't racist because he was exploring when such a word could be used as a result of Mongoose's hypocrisy surrounding it. But I still find it interesting that a video that uses the N-word dozens of times is not considered at all harassment or bullying or whatever, but a video on a guy's chin is. So what this shows is that harassment on a person's physical appearance is not allowed, which is a bit weird because it's not exactly a life-threatening issue. Like, sure, ban people who go to white supremacy marches. I don't think anybody will complain, but if you make fun of a person's chin, you're gonna be in serious trouble. Now, to be fair, this sort of thing is actually mentioned in the updated guidelines. The example YouTube gives is, look at this creature's teeth, they're so disgusting. As an example of when you're denigrating an individual, which is a weirdly specific insult for YouTube to come up with. I won't lie, to me it kind of seems like somebody at Team YouTube is really self-conscious about their teeth, and they're projecting it with this blog post, but whatever. So, does this apply to Idubbbz? Well, yes. There's no question in my book that the content cop is in violation of the guidelines. The real question is whether this type of commentary should be allowed. The especially important part is the subtext of Idubbbz's video. The reason he uses ad hominem is because Leafy's channel revolved around that sort of criticism, despite Leafy being an incredibly self-conscious individual. Although technically it is in violation, the removal of the video misses out on the nuances of the situation. Apparently, according to the news articles on the subject, this comes as a result of Steven Crowder using homophobic language against a Vox journalist. At least that's what I think is the cause of all this. The only sites that are actually bringing it up are owned by Vox, so, just noting that there's a certain bias in the reporting of this. you can always expect the greatest level of journalistic integrity in a Conovan news channel. Speaking of which, it's time for this video to end. I hope you had a good time watching it, and let me know if you had any thoughts down below. And maybe consider liking and subscribing. Alright, cheers.